SpaceX has demonstrated its ability to land Starship, but the company still needs to send the prototype rocket into space and have it survive re-entry. SpaceX plans to have its first Starship Orbital test flight be launched from Texas and splash down off the coast of an island in Hawaii, according to a document the company filed with the FCC on Thursday. The orbital flight test would mark the first time SpaceX stacks both elements of its massive Starship system together, the next key development step in its attempt to build a rocket that could one day land on Mars. As outlined in the document, a Super Heavy booster stage will launch Starship from SpaceX's Boca Chica, Texas facilities and separate in midair nearly 3 minutes into the flight. About 5 minutes later, that booster stage will return back to Earth and splash down in the Gulf of Mexico. Or, as SpaceX puts it, it will perform a partial return and land in the Gulf of Mexico approximately 20 miles from the shore. Meanwhile, Starship, the top half of the entire rocket system, will continue into orbit, nearly completing a full trip around the Earth before plunging back through the atmosphere over Hawaii roughly 90 minutes after launching from Texas. Starship will aim to nail a powered target landing on the ocean about 62 miles off the northwest coast of Kauai, the state's northernmost island. The document didn't name a specific date for Starship's orbital flight. CEO Elon Musk and SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell have said that it could happen by the end of 2021, but an email that accompanied Thursday's filing indicated it could happen anytime in the next year, before March 1st, 2022. That email also says the maximum altitude for Starship is 72 miles, an extremely low orbital altitude sitting just north of the boundary between space and Earth's atmosphere. SpaceX's Starship system is the centerpiece of Musk's goal to enable routine interplanetary travel. The system designed to send humans and up to 100 tons of cargo to the Moon and Mars. SpaceX recently won a $2.9 billion contract from NASA to build a reliable moon lander. SpaceX has launched 5 high-altitude Starship prototypes from its South Texas rocket facilities since December, nailing a successful landing on its 5th test flight earlier this month. A few more of these suborbital hop tests are planned in the next month or so. Whenever it happens, the orbital test will demonstrate Starship's maneuvers that can't be simulated using computers. The company said in the document, SpaceX intends to collect as much data as possible during flight to quantify entry dynamics and better understand what the vehicle experiences in a flight regime that is extremely difficult to accurately predict or replicate computationally. The flight data gleaned from Starship's test will anchor any changes in vehicle design and better build models for us to use in our internal simulations. Musk has envisioned using Starship for rapid orbit-based transportation between any 2 cities on Earth, an ambitious, or pretty wild, idea called point-to-point travel. In a SpaceX video that illustrates the idea, passengers take a large boat from a dock of a city coast to a floating launch pad out in the water. There they board the same rocket that Musk wants to use to send humans to Mars by 2024. But instead of heading off to another planet once they leave the Earth's atmosphere, the ship separates and breaks off towards another city on Earth. Just 39 minutes. And some 7,000 miles later, the ship re-enters the atmosphere and touches down on another floating pad, much like the way SpaceX lands its Falcon 9 rockets at sea. The routes proposed in the video include travel from Hong Kong to Singapore in 22 minutes, London to Dubai or New York in 29 minutes, and Los Angeles to Toronto in 24 minutes. This proposed method of Earth City to Earth City travel would be by far the fastest ever created transportation for humanity. The main use of Starship as envisioned by Musk is for interplanetary travel, and the first one being Mars. Next time on Discover Zen, we will be discussing the top 5 amazing facts about Starship you probably didn't know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, let us know below what you want to see in the next video. Until next time.